Mark, can you tell us please what it takes those days to be successful?
Everybody wants to be successful, and there's ways to be successful in every area, but let's do a definition of success and say success is doing what you want, when you want, with whom you want, as much as you want, because you want. And that is underwritten, first of all, with awareness. So success is really awareness. Success is always an inside job. How do you decorate the inside of your mind? Meaning, right before you go to sleep, you visualize and live in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. In other words, when I was upside down and bankrupt, I visualized that I would be talking around the world, and here we are in Russia talking together, and we're going to be talking around the rest of the world together. And now, for 34 years I've been doing literally that. So I decorated my mind as a business to do that, and then you decorate it for your relationships, for your health, for your fitness, for different levels of equity that you want, whether it's relationship equity, health equity, spiritual equity, something of a value that you're going to put up. You decorate your mind the way you want it to be, and then you live into that experience with fixity of thought.
Mark, what would you do to earn quick money if your kid's life would depend on it?
One of the great questions of all times is, if your child's life depends on it, what would you do to add 1 0? And when I was selling originally to the life insurance business, the top salesman at the time, Ben Feldman, he was on the cover of Fortune magazine and Time magazine, and he and I sat at a breakfast or lunch once, and he said, "You're earning $400 a day times 250 work days, that's $100,000 a year. All it is, Mark, is 1 0. If your child's life depended on it, could you earn 1 0 and earn $4,000 a day times 250 work days? That would be $1 million a year." And it just expanded my thinking in such a way, because my little daughter was born with a reflux, so we literally, either my wife at the time or I, slept with her for 6 months in her baby crib at the hospital because we didn't want her to be alone. So there's nothing I wouldn't do for my kids. So the question is so good, what would you do to add 1 0 to your income? Because 1 0 is really an expansion of your awareness, it's an expansion of your self-esteem, it's an expansion of the level and the quality of life you're going to be, and it raises your standard to go to the next level so you can be more, do more, have more. And it's a level of beingness first, so do you want to do it? So what would I do in one day? I'd figure out where the big sale is, where the big deal is, and then when we finished Chicken Soup for the Soul, we had spent all of my money and all of Jack's money doing it, and our spouses were saying, "Where's the money?" And I'd been working in life insurance business, I'd been working in the chiropractic business, and I'd met all the doctors of chiropractic who were making over $1 million a year. So I called all of them by telephone. I did a telephone interview with them. I taped it, I edited it, I put it in a package, and we sold and made $3 million, how to make more than $1 million in your practice. Then we did one on how to have a practice that is free of insurance, so it's a cash practice. Then we did one set of tapes on how to hire a perfect CA, a chiropractic assistant, to build your practice. And one of the ladies I interviewed that I just worked with in Australia, Nyari Cannon, her husband is the greatest doctor of craniosacral. He gets rid of dyslexia that quick. Amazing guy. I watched a giant black man that had been in prison forever in his kitchen at Don's house, Dr. Cannon's house, adjust him. And he said, this guy weighed about 350 pounds, solid rock muscle, and said, "Do you mean everybody can read what it says in the refrigerator like you do, Mark?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Now I can see it for the first time." But Nyari Cannon, it was a depression. Everybody was out of business in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. And she interviewed 200 people for one job. But she took every one of them through the whole practice. They got 20 new patients, which paid for her salary for the next 5 years. So what I did is I made these tapes on how to do it. Then I sold them to the chiropractors and made all that money in an instant. So what am I saying? Let's unwrap it. First of all, there's always money to be made in an instant. In a good market, there's money to be made. In a bad market, there's money to be made. Somebody's always making money. So if you don't know how to make the money, you need to take on the headset of the people that do know how to make money in good times and bad, whether that means Richard Branson for you, or Oprah Winfrey, or whoever the most successful person in your area is. You take on the mantle of their thinking and say, if I were thinking through Richard Branson's eyes, what would I do in this very thin market, or because I got to keep my kid alive tomorrow? There's always a way, and I've always been able to find money in a blink when I wanted it. One time I wanted a gold and diamond bracelet that was excessively expensive, so I put a deposit on it, and then I went and earned the money the next day just so I could have it, because I said, if I want it, I can have it. And that is the law of attraction in action. You figure out what it is you want, you line up your vibration exclusively to having it, and then you go out and apply the law and you get the result. So everybody can have the money they need, assuming they're willing to work and assuming they're willing to go outside their comfort zone, because we all have a little comfort zone. And for me to sell more books than anyone in the world, plenty of times it's been more uncomfortable than comfortable. Most people say, well, I couldn't do that. Somebody at the end of one of Jack's and my seminar at the National Speaker Association was sitting next to Jack's wife, Dr. Georgia, and said, I wouldn't do what he did. And she said, that's okay, he's my husband and you're not going to be as rich as he is either.
Okay. So, are you ready for the next question? Okay.
Mark, you told me that you have more than 6,000 goals in your computer right now. Can you tell me what is your most outrageous goal right now in this moment?
The most outrageous goal we have is to sell 1 billion books in a day. Now, no one's ever sold 1 billion books in a human lifetime. Not Agatha Christie. 1 billion books have been sold, but she's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who've sold 1 billion, 2 people, Agatha Christie and one other. R.K. Rowling hasn't even sold. Like, I'm blanking on who the other person is. But I want to sell not 1 billion in a lifetime, not 1 billion in a year, but 1 billion in a day. And I've got 2 partners, James Skinner and Royce Kruger, and we've come up with 7 ways to do it. And we are morphing all 7 ideas together because they're all good independently. Mm-hmm. We'll probably do all 7 of them over time because we're going to end illiteracy, and the twin sister of illiteracy is poverty. And if we end people's lack awareness and get them into lots, load, surplus, abundance, which happens in a model, in what we call a paradigm shift, a model shift, a concept shift, an idea shift, which is what you and I do at our seminars. We get people from thinking lack to thinking loads, from thinking shortage to thinking surplus, from thinking have-notness to thinking have-ness. There is plenty of everything in the world if we design our lives right, think right, talk right, act right, we get the right results right here, right now.
Wow. Okay.